I give the call to the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, your website currently states, and I quote, "A Labor government will cut power bills for families and businesses by $275 a year." Is this still your policy?
I give the call to the Prime Minister.
Thanks very much, Mr Speaker. I could just refer to my answer of yesterday, but that would, but that wouldn't be as much fun as going through what our policy is, because our policy is very clear. Our Powering Australia plan is indeed up on the website, and something that might be unfamiliar to those opposite is the concept of putting out an energy policy that you're going to actually implement, because those opposite had 22 energy policies and didn't implement any of them. The other thing that might be confusing for those opposite is the concept of putting out a policy that's fully costed and that has detailed economic analysis, in this case by Reputex, Australia's leading energy economists. And what Australia's leading energy economists said is that if you embrace the changes that we're advancing, including fixing transmission through our Rewiring the Nation plan, making sure that we bring the electricity grid into the 21st century, if you have a policy that upgrades—
Order.
Well, if you're not interested—
The Prime Minister is being relevant, specifically about the policy that he was asked about. I will give the call to the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Well, it is on relevance, and I refer you to the many statements of former Speaker Smith in relation to questions, the construction of questions. The question is very clear. On the Prime Minister's website it states, and I quote, "A Labor government will cut power bills for families and businesses by $275 a year."
Resume your seat. The Prime Minister is answering the question. He is referring to the policy. Resume your seat. Order. The Prime Minister is being relevant, entirely relevant, and I give him the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Order.
Those opposite.
Order. Order. The Leader of the Opposition has asked his question in silence. The Prime Minister will be heard in silence. Order. The Leader of the Opposition.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. Those opposite are confused by the idea that you could put out a comprehensive policy plan to deal with energy in this country, and that you would have proper modelling that was put out last December, wasn't questioned in January, not in February, not in March, not in April, not in May. But, of course, what was not known at that time— What was not known—
Members on
was
my
that those opposite had actually sat on and changed the rules to hide from the Australian people the increase in energy costs that occurred on July 1. They went, as I outlined yesterday, in a series of moves to deliberately stop the Australian people knowing before May 21 that they had baked in an increase. That is their responsibility.
The Prime Minister's time
we'll be reducing energy prices.
And I give the order.